You're probably here because you're tired, not just end of the day tired, the kind of tired that comes from knowing what you're doing now isn't sustainable. You've spent years following the rules, doing everything right, working in schools, clinics, homes, maybe even starting your own ABA business from scratch. And still, it feels like you're running on fumes. You're holding it all together, but it's costing you your time, your energy, your joy. And maybe somewhere in there, you've started thinking there has to be another way, something that's not tied to insurance, something that's not another school contract, something that actually supports your life instead of draining it. You're not asking for easy, you're asking for something that's yours, something that gives you more freedom, more purpose, and more control over how you show up in this field. But every time you think about building it, something stops you. I don't have time. I don't know where to start. Other people can do that, but not me. This lamp, it's wired, it's connected, it's 100% capable of lighting up the space around it. But until you flip the switch, it stays dark. It doesn't matter how functional or purpose powerful it is. It doesn't do anything until someone turns it on. And you're the same. You're already wired with everything you need: experience, perspective, creativity, passion. You've helped so many people move forward: parents, RBTs, teachers, clients. But when it comes to yourself, you're waiting for a sign or a plan or maybe permission from someone. Well, this is your sign. You already know enough to get paid for what you know. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to take the next step as you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to walk you through why you're stuck, and it's not a lack of knowledge, what you already have that's valuable and sellable, and how to take your first clear step today. So you're stuck because you're smart. Let's get real. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're not stuck because you don't care enough. You're stuck because you're smart. You've spent years analyzing behavior, preventing mistakes, thinking 5 steps ahead. You're trained to be cautious, to consider every possible outcome. And that same skill set that makes you thoughtful, ethical, and a values driven BCBA is the same thing that's making you hesitate right now because you don't want to do it wrong. You don't want to look unprofessional in front of other BCBAs. You don't want to risk your reputation or make a move that doesn't align with your values. And that's valid. But here's the hard truth that no one tells us in supervision or grad school. Perfectionism is just it's just fear wearing a lab coat. We tell ourselves, I'll start once I have more time, once I've watched one more video, once I've thought it through just a little bit more. But those aren't preparation steps. Those are avoidance loops. And we know about escape maintained behavior. And the longer you stay in that loop, the more convincing it becomes. You are absolutely capable of building something that's meaningful. But capability means nothing without activation. It doesn't matter how perfect your wiring is. If you never flip the switch, nothing happens. So if you've been stuck in that cycle of overthinking, researching, doubting, I want you to hear this. You are not unprepared. You are not underqualified. You are actually overqualified and underactivated. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to change that. But first, I want to talk about the biggest belief shift that helped me and the BCBAs I work with finally start building something that we love. And so here's the truth. You do not need to be 10 steps ahead of someone to help them. You just need to be one step ahead with a way that you can help guide them forward. And you already are. Think about what you've lived through in your career so far. Maybe you figured out how to overcome challenges related to ADHD or dyslexia to pass the exam. Or maybe you've won over the most skeptical parents. Maybe you've mentored someone or had to figure out how to survive a school system that gave you nothing but chaos and compliance. That's value. That's experience. That's something people will gladly pay for if you're willing to show up and offer it. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but I'm newly certified, I haven't done enough yet to help someone else, I want to stop you right there. You don't have to be an expert. You just need to be a little bit further down the road than someone else. There's this moment in the movie called Catch Me If You Can, where Frank Abagnale Jr. explains how he taught an entire college class by staying just one chapter ahead of his students. Not one degree, not one decade, just one chapter. But honestly, that's all most people need. Someone who's walked the road before them, just far enough ahead to offer a map and say, here's what worked for me. Let me help you get there too. And people really appreciate the fact that you're real and that you've experienced the same challenges that they have. You've already got that in you, whether it's behavior plans, parent coaching, RBT support, passing the exam, or surviving school politics. You've figured something out, and that makes you qualified. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be real. There are RBTs out there right now who are getting zero support, parents who are desperate for someone to explain behavior in a way that makes sense to them, aspiring BCBAs who just want someone to walk beside them without making them feel stupid. They don't need a guru. They don't need someone with all the answers. They just need someone who's been there and has a clear way to help them move forward and achieve their goals. Let's make this real for a second. I want you to fill in the sentence. I help who struggle with a problem by and your solution. So that's it. That's your first offer. Who is it that you help? What is the problem that you solve? And how are you going to help them solve it? It's not a business plan. It's not a logo, just a clear way to describe how you help someone with a real painful problem. Let me give you a few examples to get you thinking about it. I help new BCBAs who feel overwhelmed by supervision by giving them done for you systems and mentorship. Here's another one. I help parents of autistic kids who feel like ABA doesn't fit their life by teaching them how to apply it in their own home on their own terms. I help school-based BCBAs advocate for ethical change and train staff without burning out. And here's one more. I help aspiring BCBAs prepare for the exam and understand how to apply the concepts in real life cases. It doesn't have to be big or flashy. It just has to be clear and it has to be you. You don't need permission to share what you know. You need courage to stop hiding it. So here's your next step. Write out your sentence. One sentence, that's it. Say it out loud. Say it scared. Say it messy, but say it. Who do you help? What problem do you solve? And how do you help them solve it? Because once you name it, you can build from it. And in just a minute, we'll talk about how to take that knowledge and actually turn it into something you can get paid for. What you know is actually valuable if you package it. Here's something no one tells you when you're stuck in the day-to-day grind that we often find ourselves in ABA. You've already created things that people would pay for. You just didn't know that's what you were doing. Every time you make a quick visual to help a parent understand behavior, every checklist you built for a new RBT, every email you sent to a teacher to explain a plan in plain English, all of that is intellectual property. But because you created it in survival mode or out of necessity, you've never stopped to realize it. And that's the business. what you've already created, what you've already lived through, what you've already solved. That's your offer. It just hasn't been packaged yet. Let me show you what I mean. There's a huge difference between having something valuable and someone else seeing it as something that's valuable. That's what packaging does. Packaging is what turns a supervision tip into a paid course. It turns a conversation into a coaching offer. It turns a resource folder into a downloadable product that people can access. It turns a skill set into a sustainable income stream. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You just need to look at what you already know and ask yourself, how could I make this easier for someone else? That's it. That's the business model. Let me give you another example. You might be thinking, okay, so I've helped supervisees before. I've made a checklist, but who would buy that? So here's who. The BCBA who's about to supervise for the first time and has no systems in place. Or the RBT who just passed their competency assessment, but still feels really unsure about the role. Or maybe the clinic owner who needs something sustainable to train their staff without hiring another person. They're out there and they're overwhelmed, and you've already figured something out that could help them, but they can't benefit from it if you keep it stuck in your Google Drive. So this is the shift. Stop creating in isolation and start packaging for impact. You don't need to be fancy. You don't need a funnel, at least right away. You don't need a way to take what you know. You need a way to take what you know and make it usable, accessible, and findable. You need a way for people to pay for it. And the first step is asking yourself, what's something I've already created that can help someone? What's something I've explained over and over again? What are the questions people keep asking me specifically that I have the answers to? What's something that I've solved that used to feel overwhelming to me? That's what we help you turn into an offer inside Beyond Boundaries. Because once you see your experience as an asset, you stop undercharging, overthinking, and burning out. And when you do, you build something that actually supports your life, not just everyone else's. But don't worry, up next, we're going to talk about what really creates clarity and how to take action without knowing all the answers yet. Let's be honest, if planning alone was enough to move forward, we'd all be flying by now. You've got notebooks full of ideas, voice memos with brilliant thoughts, half-built Google Docs, outlines, Trello boards. You've read the blogs, taken the webinars, maybe even designed a logo, but nothing's launched, nothing's real. And deep down, you're frustrated because you're not lazy. You're just stuck in the loop of getting ready. It's the someday factor. Someday, this is something that you're going to do. Here's what I want you to hear clearly. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. You can't plan your way to confidence. You can't analyze your way into certainty. You have to move. You have to test. You have to see yourself follow through on something, even if it's small. That's where the confidence comes from, not before, after. This lamp, it didn't wait for the perfect placement. It didn't ask for better lighting conditions. It's just doing what it's wired to do because someone had the courage to flip the switch. Not all of it, not a perfect version, just the first flicker. Because when you take one aligned action, everything shifts. You stop guessing and you start experiencing. You get data, you get feedback, you build momentum. Here's what that might look like today. Share that one sentence offer in our community. Message 3 people and ask what they're struggling with. You could record a voice note with your idea and send it to someone who gets it. That could even be me. I'd be happy to listen to your ideas. Post a poll or a question box in your stories on Facebook. You could offer a free resource and see who raises their hand and is interested. It's not about the result, it's about the activation. And if you've been waiting for clarity, this is it. Action creates clarity. You're not missing a secret strategy. You're missing motion. And the second you take that step, you're no longer stuck. You're building, you're iterating, you're learning, you're leading. And that's how all of this starts. In just a minute, I'm going to bring it all together and give you a simple, memorable reminder that will stick with you every time you feel like waiting. But for now, just remember this. You don't need the full plan. You just need the next step and the courage to take it. It's time for you to flip the switch. If you're stuck because you're not stuck because you're unmotivated. You're not behind. You're not lacking. You're here inside a program designed to help you build the things you keep dreaming about. You've already said yes. Now it's time to start moving like you mean it. This lamp, it's still wired, still full of potential. But if you don't turn it on, the room stays dark. And you're the same. You're already inside beyond boundaries. You have the framework, you have support, you have momentum waiting to be claimed. The only thing missing now is action. So here's your reminder. Clarity doesn't come before you move. It comes because you move. Confidence doesn't show up first. It shows up second after courage. You don't need to do all the things. You just need to do that next thing. So what is it? Is it creating a checklist? Is it refining your offer? Posting something imperfect? Asking for feedback? Finishing the course that you started? Whatever it is, just do that one thing, because every successful business you admire, every freedom finder you've seen move fast, every transformation you want for yourself, it all starts with the same simple moment. Someone decided to flip the switch. So here's your moment. Are you ready? Go flip it.